Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm doing the coolest series ever, at least it's cool for me, and that is taking these old original vocal stems or solo vocals of some of the greatest artistic works ever done. And next up actually is Under Pressure. The singers are, of course, David Bowie and what was that guy from Queen? Freddie Mercury. Just kidding. Anyway, and what a strange bedfellow. I just want to kind of start there. Like, who thought of putting Freddie Mercury together with David Bowie as a pretty odd mix? However, they both have very theatrical kind of approaches to music. So they certainly have that in common, and they're very different voice types. So we're going to get into that in a minute. If you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really awesome. Don't forget that I have a singing course, and the course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. Wait a minute, can I sing better than myself? I don't know, if you work hard enough, you might be able to, at least now as you progress. But I also have a singing forum, and the forum has over 20,000 people in there right now at kentemplinvocalacademy.com. Bing! Right? So go over there, guys. Sign up the vocal forums for free, man. It's super awesome. And I just want to dive right in. So we're going to play it, and I'll talk about it as we go. Here we go. So check it out. Okay, so it's just kind of grooving, like he's got doing some scam, doo doo ba ba, boo boo ba ba. So you can tell that it's very free. I don't get the impression right out of the gate that someone wrote out a bunch of notes that they had to sing. Though I'm sure there was certainly a template they worked from, but that's kind of the first impression that I get. All right, here we go.
Pressure pushing down on me, pressing down on you. No.
Okay, now, do you guys remember me having a saying? And the saying is, a singer is only a singer because they have the guts to be one. Now, let me explain this. What do I mean by that? A singer is only a singer because they have the guts to be one. Well, it means that not all singers are great because they're great singers. Now, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Ken. You know, you sell a singing course on how to get great at singing. I do. I actually tell you guys to take your art and developing your voice and the technical aspects of your voice will give you a lot more options for singing. Higher range, more power, more longevity, and. In this case, however, there are character singers, and it could be David Bowie. It could be, we've talked a lot about, we picked on Bob Dylan a lot, but there's a lot of people. I mean, even Sting to some degree is a character singer. Mick Jagger is a character singer. There's a lot of character singers where you go, oh, I get it. Tom Petty is more of a character singer than a singer like Mariah Carey, okay? So, with that said, we're listening to a character singer, and right out of the gate, it's kind of funky, but it's so David Bowie, you know who it is right away. But listen closely. All right, we're going to go from the very beginning.
Pressure pushing down on me.
Pressure, right? Pressure, right? It sounds like he's chirping. He's like he got caught on his chord as he's coming to the first note. But he's also very melodramatic. So it's pressure coming down on me, right? So that's kind of his vibe, and that's what he's putting off in the song. The song's called Under Pressure. So he's trying to make it sound like he's under pressure, and his throat does sound like it's under pressure. All right, let's do it again. Here we go.
Pressure pushing down on me, pressing down on you. No man has fall.
Now, if you notice also, he's at least triple tracking the vocals. There's at least 3 voices there. So if you think you hear a lot of David Bowie, and this happens a lot of times with artists, but if you're listening back and you go, oh my gosh, it's not even that exact. Like you didn't even try to get it that close. It's kind of close, right? Let's take another listen.
Pressing down on you, no man has fall.
Right?
Under pressure.
Now, you can hear Freddie go, under pressure. So you've got the musicality of a maestro, Freddie Mercury stepping in with another guy that is just 100% character singer. So it's an interesting mesh as we're going along.
That burns a building down, splits the family in two.
Now, he's melodramatic, very theatrical in his approach too, very Broadway, but under down on you, loving me. That's not the right lyric. But anyway, but Freddie's like that too. Freddie has a lot of stuff where he's very melodramatic, Mama, just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he is dead, right? He's got that very melodramatic kind of thing going on too. But I do want to say one more thing about David Bowie is David Bowie also comes kind of more from the crooner area. So, right? And we also have Freddie doing that too. Cool, relax. I get in, I get it on, on a motor car, I get ready, Freddie, a crazy little thing called love, right? So he has or can have a tendency to step into that crooner zone like we hear with David Bowie. So I want to point out all these things. Now, I told you I was going to be a tutorial, so it's I'm going to analyze the vocals, we're going to talk about how it was recorded, and then give you some tutorials on the actual singing part. So David Bowie kind of covers this under pressure. Everything's coming down on me, right? So if you think about kind of any of the David Bowie stuff, and it could be rebel, rebel, your face is a mess, right? So he's got a very British covered kind of dark British sound going on, and it doesn't mean let's dance. Put on your shoes and dance the blues, right? So you can kind of hear this really covered sound, whereas Freddie is, he's much more, lively and bright, and he's got that real energetic kind of sound to him. So
puts people on streets.
Now, not busting Freddie. But I get the feeling that this was like a one-day meet and greet. We know the songs and our parts. I'll be Freddie, you be David Bowie. We'll do our characters that we do, and we're kind of acting this out. And of course, they did a video together. But if you listen, Freddie's not that accurate in his tone, in his pitch. Even when he walks in, he's kind of loses it on the vocal a little bit, and his pitch isn't that on. It works for Freddie, and he's awesome. But the pitch, listen closely, listen.
Under pressure.
Watch.
That burns the building down, splits the family in two.
That's good.
Puts people on streets.
It's okay. It's flat. It's flat again.
That's okay. It's a terror.
That's okay. Like, right, again, so it's just vibe for Freddie right now. He's not worrying about perfection or anything.
Of knowing what this world is about.
Knowing what this world is about. It kind of reminds me of, remember the old Frankenstein? Why, Frankie, is there something wrong with you today? It's got that kind of, right? It's this very melodramatic, kind of dark, vibe going on.
Watching some good friends screaming, let me out. Pray tomorrow gets me higher.
Cool. See where we're at here? It's coming up. And that was even flat. It almost sounds like someone kind of warming up. And so maybe what happened, this is just me talking, okay? So maybe what happened was he just kind of came in and vibed on it. Like it was just, whatever happens. I'm Freddie, so people will like it. And David Bowie, he's very signature sound. So David Bowie does his David Bowie thing. And it worked, man. Somehow it worked. But anyway. Okay.
Chipping around, kick my brains around the floor. These are the days, it never rains, but it pours.
Okay, now, so obviously that was some ad-libs. Very Broadway, almost kind of somewhere between Roaring 20s, early 40s, Andrews Sisters kind of thing. Yeah. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy company B. Got that kind of thing going on with Freddie, and then you've got, listen to the background vocals. You got the dark side of David that's gluing it to.
These are the days, it never rains, but it pours.
There's his ghost. Right, he says the ghost of David Bowie. Here we go. Okay, now So they probably sat down, you know, I don't have time to write lyrics, so I'm just going to do this. Right. Where's my lyrics? I guess it's just under pressure.
It's the terror of now.
So maybe David Bowie wrote the songs because he's actually the one singing the lyrics, and Freddie came in as the doo-wop guy, maybe, right? And I like the song. It's strange because, like I said, it's such an interesting bedfellow. Whoever put them together was, really prescient in thinking about something like this would work. But I think one of the things that is also really cool is they have so much character. Each one of them has so much unique character that you immediately can tell them apart. Like in anything that they're doing in the song, you go, oh, that's David. Oh, that's Freddie. Oh, that's David. Oh, that's Freddie. And that's also something that helps make the song really work is they're so unique within their character voices. So.
What this world is about. Watching some good friends screaming, let me out.
Tomorrow gets me high, high, high.
There's Freddie. Cool.
Turned away from it all like a blind man.
Okay, now they obviously worked this up because they're doing a little duet thing. And the interesting thing is the harmonies are not like perfect thirds of anything. They're really unusual harmonies. Listen back to this. Check it out. I mean, who thought of these harmonies? I don't know. But listen.
Turned away from it all like a blind man.
I think what it is, my bad, I should have listened to this closer. This is my first time listening to this. It's in octaves. It's just that David's voice is stretching so much to try to stay in pitch. It sounds like he's a little bit flat of the octave. Listen closely. And turn away, da-na-na, da-na-na-na, turn away of the note of a blind man. Right? So there are an octave, so it isn't even a harmony. It's just, again, David's voice is kind of pitchy throughout it. Check it out. Let's do it one more time. Here we go.
Turned away from it all like a blind man. Sat on a fence, but it don't work.
Now, one other thing I want to point out about this is that they're using a glob of different kinds of effects. 1 minute, David Bowie's got this real dark reverb around him. The next minute, you got Freddie getting a real bright reverb. 1 minute, there's no reverb at all. And the next minute, they're using a little harmonizer here and there, whatever. So they're really going out of their way to make a lot of different effects, to paint a lot of imaging and a lot of dimension of different voices coming in and painting a big picture of different vocal sounds so that it's not just a typical duet of two guys singing together on one song.
Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn.
Why?
See?
Why?
Was that a G?
Love, 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 love.
Goes to an A? I think that's right. Let me try this here. Hold on. We're learning this together.
Why?
That's G.
Love, 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 love.
He goes all the way to an A, and then what does David do here? He goes.
Love, 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 love.
Blah, 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 blah. Right? It kind of reminds me like old, fame, 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 blah, 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 blah. So he's kind of pulling out his old stuff. So I just want to make sure that those are the right notes. So he goes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he goes all the way to an A. That's some pretty high singing right there, folks. I know it's in head voice falsetto, but it's still some pretty high notes. Let's continue. Here we go.
Insanity laughs under pressure, we're cracking.
Now, you hear all the effect on the vocals? Listen to all that effect.
Insanity laughs under pressure, we're cracking.
Can we give ourselves
Now, if you notice, they're using so much doubler on the effect. His voice sounds like it's in the background. It's this big round thing. And because they don't use any effect on this line of Freddie coming in, it sounds like he's really in the front of the mix and David's back here. Check it out. Listen to this closely.
Insanity laughs under pressure, we're cracking.
Can we give ourselves one more chance? Why can't we give love that one more chance? Why can't we give love, 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 give love?
'Cause love
there's a get long, 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 long. All this big tunnel reverb, you know, right, as it's going out. So they're bringing in and out all these different dimensions of voice going in. I like his tone there. That's cool. By the way, let's talk about get long, love. So he's compressing the sound. Get long, get long, get long, get long. Hey, right? He's compressing that air instead of ba-da-da-ba-da. You know, he's using a very different kind of approach, and he's just kind of sticking it, you know, by manning up with the diaphragm. Get long, and he's, you know, using some of the distortion that he's known for when he goes out and he belts, and then David comes in after. Check it out.
An old-fashioned word and love dares you to care
Now, these vocal lines are very David Bowie. They're obviously very thought out, or very worked up, I should say. Maybe not thought out, but he's worked up. And it sounds a lot like, if you were to hear a David Bowie record, a kind of vocal line he'd come up with. Very signature David Bowie. Check it out.
Was love such an old-fashioned word and love dares you to care for the people on the edge of the night, and love dares you to change our way up.
Now you hear na 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 na. You know, so he's got a really pretty cool and interesting melody, and he's got a lot of effect. There's multiple tracks of vocals and a lot of effect. Listen close.
Dares you to change our way of caring about.
What a weird caring about with caring. I think it's like a fifth to a fourth to something else is kind of moving around. It kind of reminds me of like something Rob Halford would do in Judas Priest, or like a metal band would do as a kind of a dissonant harmony. Listen closely. Tell me if I'm crazy, but you know, it's the kind of things I'm hearing is someone that's doesn't want to make it happy, because about being under pressure, right? And that's what the whole song's about. So you want to find, if you're going to do a harmony on something, you want to find something that's a little dissonant and a little weird. And I think they nailed it. Check it out. Listen.
Our way of caring about ourselves. This is our life.
And Rob Halford goes, ah! Right, and then he kind of throws that in there, right? And then he kind of, I don't know, it's just me.
Dance. This is our last dance. This is ourselves under pressure.
It's cool, right? Is this the end? I think it's the end.
Under
Right?
pressure.
Yeah, this is the end. And then it goes, pressure, the end. But anyway, gang, hopefully you liked what you heard, and definitely check out my next video.